Hey, it's the Information Overload Hour for this Friday. John Harper with you, along with Jim Vautrot and Sophie B., our other co-host, who's joining us from time to time. And right now on our Newsmaker line, we wanted to spend a couple of minutes with our favorite real estate person who really has a good idea of what's happening not only in our area of the state, but also the entire state. She covers a wide range of topics and a wide range of mileage between here and Jacksonville and all over. We're talking about Darcy Covington. Darcy, of course, with Coast to Coast Home Team, and we'll give out her information a little bit later. But Darcy, thanks for being with us. We deeply appreciate it. And Jim and I were talking in one of our production meetings. Excuse me, I need to mention Sophie as well. We were talking in one of our production meetings about the exorbitant cost of insurance for homeowners and condo owners, and where is this insurance ride taking us? Because I said to Jim, it's almost like living in California with the cost of insurance for a home and the dramatic increase that so many homeowners are experiencing. Can you kind of help shed some light on that for us, Darcy Covington?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much, John and Jim and Sophie B. So excited to be here again with you guys. And yes, insurance is a hot topic for the state of Florida. In fact, the state of Florida, and the reason why is we really are responsible as far as the overall insurance claims for the entire country. 85% of the liability claims are coming out of our state.
Wow, I didn't realize that number was so high, 85%.
Wow, that's
right, 85%. Yeah, isn't that? It's very interesting. So, of course,
so here in Florida, we pay insurance, and we pay insurance, and the cost of gas in California charges them a different situation, right? I mean, California has a lot of other stuff too, Darcy, and I'm just worried about how it is that even though we've got 85% of the claims, I mean, I don't know why we can't just spread that out. I thought insurance was supposed to be a spread out thing, spread out all over the spread risk all over the country. I mean, that's what I thought I was buying.
There's an interesting story behind this on why, and there is a hopefully bright future ahead. So in my investigation of the insurance and what's going on, I found out that after 2000, about the hailstorm that happened in 2019, which was from Orlando and east to Melbourne, that was probably the beginning of the fall, where there was the roofing industry that were coming in, and we even had roofers from out of state taking advantage of coming in to get these roof claims, and some of them fraudulent roof claims that they wanted the state or the insurance to cover. And our state happens to be a state where they call it's not a cash basis. They do a full claim for those roofs. So it really was hurting the insurance companies and the reinsurance that actually backs up the insurance companies, because the money was just going in one direction with all of these roofing claims. So that caused several people in the industry, several insurance companies and agencies to have to go out of business and leave. And many of them that were trying to be responsible companies had to bow out of the state of Florida to protect their monies, for their current customers.
Darcy Covington is with us on this edition of the Information Overload Hour. And Darcy, I've lived here in the state of Florida, along with other areas of the country and the world, obviously for a good number of years here in Florida. And it seems to me, Darcy, that this insurance talk about the rates going through the roof, companies backing out, companies that don't want to insure homes and things like that. I've been hearing about that since I lived in Miami in the 70s. And it seems like it hasn't changed. It's second verse, same as the first.
Hey, John, wait a minute. Now, they had Citizens Insurance, which a lot of people thought was a great idea, because if you got a mortgage, they really want you to insure your property. What the Citizens Insurance is not fully funded. So what they've been able to do lately is they've been able to line that off, lay it off on other companies. And a lot of people who've got Citizens Insurance, their policies have been laid off. And wow, they get a whopper of an insurance bill where they thought they were going to be paying one thing through Citizens. Now they're going to be paying, like one person I know paid $2,600 more than she was paying under Citizens. So I mean, I don't know really what the answer to this is. That a rising HOA cost because of insurance. What really is the impact right now, Darcy, in the state in the housing market? You're in the business of selling and buying and doing all of that kind of stuff. So how is this affecting your business?
Well, Citizens was created by the state as a company of last resort. And so they have taken on over 1.1 million policies, where before they were around 400, which is really what the state was happy with, right? So now they've got 1.1 million, and they are trying to help the private industry to get back in the game. And there's been legislation that's passed and everything. But as far as what's going on with my buyers, people are scared because if they don't know the full story, which is one reason I'm really glad we're talking about it today, if they don't know the full story, they might be scared away from Florida, for that reason. But I have found with my most recent buyers, I'm like, you have to call around. You have to get quotes from different companies. I spoke with one of my friends and insurance agency owners. He's with State Farm, and they have created a niche of what they will cover to manage their risk. So, for instance, if your house does not fall under the Miami-Dade codes, building codes of 2003, if your roof is less than 15 years old and it's not a peel and stick, or if your house is older than 1960, then they're not going to insure you. They're only taking newer homes. So that's how they're managing their risk. But there's other companies out there. I have another friend, that's Jason Buckner with Brightway Insurance, and he was telling me that they're like a brokerage. So they will call. They represent over 30 insurance agencies. So you can call, someone like Jason and get quotes from many companies, and there are companies that will fit that need. And then, of course, worst case scenario, I don't want to say worst case scenario, but there's homes that may be affected most that are right on the coast, right on the ocean. Right. And so they may have to look at other insurance carriers like, Lloyd's of London or Chubb or something like that will handle higher risk homes. But that there is a rainbow coming up because of legislation changes. So that's good.
One of the things I was wondering about too, Darcy, is, we're in Florida here. The Midwest has been getting racked with tornadoes and everything else, and that's pretty significant, billions and billions of dollars worth of damage there. And I'm just wondering, are we paying for that too with our insurance money?
I believe it is spread over country. It just happens that with the hurricane seasons we've had in Florida, and the way, actually, not just that, but the fraudulent claims from the roofing industry that were happening, that's what caused this issue for the state of Florida.
Wow.
In the end of November 2022, the state ended the assignment of benefit, which is stepping in. So in 2024 to 2025, we should have some relief as long as we don't have a bad hurricane season.
Well, that hurricane season is something we're going to be talking about on this show today, because the announcement for the hurricane season just came out on Thursday afternoon from the National Weather Service, and Jim Vautrot and I will be talking about that here on the Friday Information Overload Hour. But I digress. Darcy Covington is with us, Coast to Coast Home Team. And Darcy, this is a topic that we really could spend another hour or two discussing. It's it's a topic that's on the mind of every homeowner, and potential home buyer. And it's quite understandable why. We'd like to get more into this with you, Darcy. So we will say to be continued. And if we can obtain some additional information, what is a good number, Darcy, for us to perhaps get in touch with you at?
John, I think Darcy just left us, and she did leave us with a number. It was 321-587-0415, and that's for the coast-to-coast home team that she represents. And I'll tell you, with so many people, John, already moving into Florida and everything else, I mean, this is a natural place to go, and it's a wonderful place. The space industry is flourishing. The Northeast is, well, let's put it this way, the Northeast is the Northeast. And, obviously they've got a lot of really interesting things happening in the housing market. And, I think we're going to have to be following this a lot more closely with Darcy. And I really appreciate having her on because she always speaks, straightforward. She talks, she tells you like it is, and I like that. So, John?
And we do appreciate that indeed. Darcy Covington will be back with us here on a future Information Overload Hour segment, so stay tuned for that. You're listening to the Friday Information Overload Hour with John Harper, Jim Vautrot, and Sophie B.